Have you ever wondered why the bill at the auto shop is always longer than you expected? The truth is, not every garage is honest. There are trade secrets that only seasoned drivers know about, tricks that make you pay for things your car doesn't even need. From changing oil too soon to unnecessary tire rotations or expensive additives that do nothing, these are all clever ways to empty your wallet. In this video, you'll learn 9 secret mechanics that mechanics don't want you to know. So, the next time you walk into a garage, you'll be the one in control, not the one being led. Like and subscribe if this video helps you out. 1. Air filters and spark plugs last longer than you think. Many people believe every maintenance visit means replacing the air filter and spark plugs because it'll make the car run better. It sounds reasonable, but this is one of the easiest ways garages pad your bill. Air filters and spark plugs do need replacing, but not as often as mechanics might claim. In reality, an engine air filter can last 15,000 to 30,000 miles, sometimes even longer if you mostly drive on clean roads. Some garages prey on the fear of a weak engine and say, "Your air filter's dirty, swap it out for a new one and you'll feel the difference." But often, all it needs is a quick blowout with compressed air or a light vacuum to keep it going for thousands more miles. An air filter only needs replacing when it's completely black or the pleats are caked with dirt. If it's just a little gray, you're wasting money swapping it out. Similarly, spark plugs don't need replacing every maintenance cycle. Modern iridium or platinum spark plugs can last 60,000 to 100,000 miles while still firing reliably. Yet, many garages push you to replace them early for peace of mind, and then charge for parts and labor. The worst part? You can't verify their claims. They might show you a few old, worn spark plugs as proof, claiming they're from your car, and you believe them. The fix is simple. Check your car's owner's manual. It lists the exact mileage intervals for replacing spark plugs, air filters, oil, and more. If you're not at that mileage, don't replace them. When a mechanic suggests swapping something out, ask to see the old part on your car. You have the right to check before agreeing. A good set of spark plugs or a quality air filter lasts a long time. Replacing them too early doesn't make your car run better. It just makes your bill bigger. 2. Don't replace the battery without checking the real cause. When a mechanic says, "Your battery's weak, time for a new one," many people nod immediately, scared of being stranded with a dead car. But in most cases, the problem isn't a bad battery. It's something smaller, like corroded battery terminals, a loose ground wire, or an unstable charging system. Mechanics know this, but not all are honest because selling a new battery is quicker than troubleshooting. Car batteries don't die suddenly like many think. They weaken gradually, giving warning signs, slow cranking, dim lights, or odd noises when turning the key. If you notice these, the first thing to check is the battery terminals. A thin layer of corrosion at the connection can drop the voltage, making it seem like the battery's dead. A quick scrub with a wire brush or a cleaning solution can fix it. No need to replace the whole battery. Also, a battery that's not used regularly can weaken, but may just need recharging. A proper charge can extend its life by up to a year. When you do need a new battery, check the manufacturing date. Pick one less than a month old. Some garages sell old stock that's been sitting on shelves, reducing its capacity. You'll end up with a new battery that fails in a few months. A good battery can last 3 to 5 years if cared for properly, but many people replace theirs early just because they trust the "it's weak" claim without checking. The easiest way to avoid being fooled is to test the voltage with a multimeter or visit a shop that offers free battery checks. If the voltage is above 12.4 V with the engine off, the battery's still good. 3. Changing oil too early is the most common way to waste money. One of the most expensive habits drivers fall into is changing their oil too soon. Many garages still push the old advice: Change your oil every 3,000 miles or you'll burn out your engine. It sounds scary, but for modern cars, it's simply not true. Today's synthetic oils are far more durable, lasting 7,500 to 10,000 miles, while still lubricating effectively. Yet, many people change their oil twice as often just because of a mechanic's warning. Do the math. Each oil change costs a few dozen to $100. If you're changing it twice as often as needed, you could be throwing away hundreds of dollars a year for no reason. Worse, you're creating unnecessary oil waste, harming the environment while your car doesn't run any smoother. The real focus shouldn't be on whether the oil looks clean or dirty, but on whether there's enough of it. Modern cars have excellent filtration systems, and oil doesn't get bad as quickly as it used to. It's normal for oil to darken over time. That doesn't mean it's ruined. Check the dipstick. If the oil level is between the min and max marks, you're fine. Keep in mind that every car and oil type has a different change interval. Your owner's manual spells out exactly how many miles you can go before changing. If you drive mostly on highways with steady RPMs, the oil lasts even longer. If you frequently drive short distances, start and stop the engine a lot, or live in harsh climates, you might need to shorten the interval slightly. Even then, 5,000 to 6,000 miles is reasonable. No need for the 3,000-mile rule from decades ago. 4. Free car inspections are often the start of an endless bill. If you've ever seen a free car inspection sign outside a garage and thought, why not? It's no cost, you're not alone. But in reality, this is one of the oldest bait-and-switch tricks in the auto repair business. No one spends time, effort, and tools checking your car out of pure kindness. What they really want is you and your wallet to stick around after the diagnosis. The classic scenario goes like this. After the inspection, the mechanic comes out with a serious face, listing issues like the brakes are almost worn out, sensors are weak, coolant is cloudy, or the filter's too dirty. It sounds convincing, but in truth, these might be minor issues, or not even issues at all. Because you trusted them with your car and fear breaking down on the road, many people agree to repairs on the spot without questioning. And just like that, a free inspection turns into a bill of hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Mechanics are smarter than you think. They know customers worry about safety, so a few words like dangerous, needs fixing now, or could harm the engine are usually enough to get you to agree. Some garages even break down the cost to make them seem small, but when added up, they're far from cheap. The best way to avoid this trap is to stick to regular maintenance at a trusted shop or check your owner's manual to know exactly when parts need replacing or servicing. If you go for a free check, ask up front what they'll inspect, whether they'll provide a written report, and most importantly, you're not obligated to fix anything there. Don't let the word free lower your guard. In the auto industry, nothing is truly free. Everything comes at a cost, and that cost is usually your money. If you're nodding along, hit the like button now. 5. The upsell of extra maintenance. One of the most common ways garages pad your bill is by pushing extra maintenance services. It sounds reasonable. Who doesn't want a more durable, smoother running car? But if you're not careful, you could end up paying for things your car doesn't need at all. Here's the typical pitch. After an oil change or routine check, the mechanic says, your car could use a power steering system flush, or let's clean the radiator, change the transmission fluid, or flush the differential for a smoother ride. It all sounds professional, but the truth is, most of these services are only needed every 100,000 miles, sometimes even longer. Modern cars are built with coolant, power steering fluid, and transmission fluid that last far longer than in the past. Yet, garages suggest these services twice as early because they're easy to sell and hard to verify. Mechanics know customers shy away from arguing, especially when they hear phrases like, if you don't do this, the system could clog and your car will wear out faster. Throw in a few technical terms and you're sold. Suddenly, extra maintenance becomes an extra bill, hundreds of dollars gone in a flash. The reality: if you change your oil, filters, and coolant on the schedule outlined in your owner's manual, your car will run just fine. You don't need constant flushes, additives, or full system purges like mechanics might claim. Here's a tip. Before agreeing to any service beyond your plan, ask, does the manufacturer recommend this? If they hesitate or can't point to a specific maintenance interval in the manual, say no. Cars have limits, but they don't need a full system flush every few months. 6. Brake squealing doesn't always mean something's wrong. Many people hear a slight squeal when braking and immediately panic. My brake pads must be worn out. I need to replace them before it's dangerous. But the truth is, squealing brakes don't always mean they're failing. Sometimes that noise is just a thin layer of rust or dirt on the brake pads and rotors, a completely normal occurrence, especially if the car sat overnight outdoors or hasn't been driven in a while. When you start the car and press the brake for the first time, the friction between the pads and rotors scrapes off that rust, causing a squeak for the first few stops. Drive a few miles and the noise usually disappears. But some garages use that sound to diagnose that you need new brake pads or even rotors, a diagnosis that can easily net them a few $100s per visit. In reality, brake pads only need replacing when they're over 90% worn or when you hear a harsh, metallic screech, signaling the pad has worn down to the metal backing. If you're just hearing a light squeal in humid weather or after rain, it's likely just the brake material reacting to moisture. Some harder or performance brake pads also squeal more than standard ones, but they're more durable and effective in return. So, if you've recently switched to new pads and hear a slight noise, don't assume they're defective. The simple way to check is to look through the wheel spokes or ask a mechanic to measure the brake pad thickness before agreeing to a replacement. If you're unsure, get a second opinion at another shop. Checking is far cheaper than replacing an entire brake system you don't actually need. 7. Tire rotation isn't always necessary and is easy to fake. Tire rotation sounds like a standard maintenance task, but in reality, it's not always needed. Even worse, many garages claim they've done it without ever touching your tires. You hand over your car, pay the bill, and drive away thinking, my tires were rotated, while all four wheels stay exactly where they were. Why? Because you can't tell the difference just by looking. In theory, rotating tires helps them wear evenly and last longer, but this is mainly true for front-wheel drive cars, where the front tires bear more weight and friction. For rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive cars, the difference is minimal. If you regularly balance your tires and maintain proper tire pressure, rotating them too often doesn't add much benefit. It just adds to your bill. Worse, if a garage rotates tires incorrectly, like crisscrossing instead of front to back or ignoring tire wear and rotation direction, it can cause vibrations, uneven wear, or steering issues faster than before. Here's how to avoid being fooled. Before taking your car in, mark each tire with chalk or a marker like FR for front right or RL for rear left. When you pick up your car, check if the tires were actually moved. If a garage refuses to let you inspect the tires, that's a red flag. Also, remember that tire rotation is typically only needed every 6,000 to 8,000 miles, or if you notice uneven wear. There's no one-size-fits-all rule, so don't let mechanics push you with lines like, if you don't rotate, your tires will wear out fast. A good set of tires with proper pressure and alignment will last far longer than tires rotated incorrectly. 8. A check engine light doesn't always mean a serious problem. When the check engine light comes on, many drivers panic, pull into a garage, and brace for the worst, expecting the engine to explode. Right then, some mechanic sees the chance to diagnose major issues, faulty sensors, dead spark plugs, or even serious engine trouble. But the truth is, more than half the time, the light is triggered by minor issues, sometimes so simple you can fix them yourself. The most common cause, believe it or not, is a loose gas cap. If the cap isn't tightened properly, outside air leaks into the fuel system, the sensor detects a pressure change, and the light comes on. Stop the car, screw the cap on tightly with a few extra turns, drive a few miles, and the light might turn off. Yet, few people know this, so they fall for a mechanic's diagnosis of a fuel system issue, leading to unnecessary sensor or fuel line replacements. Sometimes, the light comes on due to a software glitch or a sensor misreading, especially in newer cars packed with electronics. In these cases, turning the car off, waiting a few minutes, and restarting can reset the system. If the light stays on, use a small OBD2 scanner, plugged into the port under the dashboard, to read the error code before heading to a shop. These devices cost just a few bucks and tell you exactly what's wrong, so garages can't scare you into overpaying. Of course, if the check engine light is flashing continuously or the car feels shaky or weak, get it checked immediately. It could be a misfire or uneven combustion. But in most cases, the light is just your car's way of saying, "I need a little attention," not "I'm about to break down." 9. Expensive additives don't make your car perform better. If you've ever been to a garage and heard a mechanic pitch an additive for your engine, fuel, or transmission with promises like, "Add this, and your car will run smoother, save gas, and clean the injectors," congratulations, you've just heard one of the most common sales tricks in the auto repair world. It sounds scientific, but the truth is, most expensive additives out there don't deliver any noticeable benefits. Modern fuel and motor oil already come packed with additives designed by manufacturers. Gasoline includes detergents to clean injectors, antioxidants, and octane boosters. Motor oil has anti-wear agents, deposit inhibitors, and temperature stabilizers. Adding extra additives doesn't make the oil better. It can actually dilute the original formula, reducing its ability to protect the engine. People hear claims like reduces friction, boosts power, and buy in, forgetting that car engines don't work like they do in commercials. Those tests are often done in labs, not real-world conditions. Any performance difference, if it exists, is so small you won't feel it, while your wallet takes a noticeable hit. Worse, some cleaning additives, if used incorrectly or in a struggling engine, can dislodge debris too quickly, sending large chunks into the oil lines, clogging filters, and damaging the oil pump. What's meant to help your car could end up causing a major overhaul. The best way to care for your car is to stick to regular oil changes, use quality fuel, and replace filters on schedule. No miracle chemicals needed. If you want to try an additive, research thoroughly and only use products recommended by your car's manufacturer. A smart driver doesn't need to know every technical trick, just when to trust and when to verify. Oil changes, tire rotations, radiator flushes, or miracle additives can all be traps if you don't understand your car. Read the owner's manual, double check before agreeing to repairs, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Knowing the right information not only saves you money, but also keeps your car stronger and more reliable for years. If you think this content is worth it, hit that subscribe button.